Today I'm going to show you how to find out the cost of the yarn that you used in your crochet project. So let's say you want to sell this sweater and you need to calculate your supplies used. Now, I showed you in another video how you can calculate how much yardage is here, right? So when I found out how many yards this was, it was about 215 yards, okay? We know that this cardigan is 215.4 yards, okay? So if we know that we pay, let's say, $3.49 for a skein, okay? How can we find out how much we have in yarn so that we can charge for our supplies? Okay, so it's very similar to the way you calculate our other ones. We're just changing the variable. So we're gonna set up an equation and then we're gonna cross multiply and solve for the variable. But this time, so we do have our yards. So we're gonna do the yards of the project, which is 215.4, over the yards in a skein, okay? And we don't know how much it costs, okay? We don't know. But we do know that a skein costs $3.49, or whatever yours cost. You can change that. Depends on how much you paid for your skein, right? All right, so the yards of the project is 215.4. The yards on our skein is 359. Okay, we don't know how much the project supplies cost, but we do know that a skein is $3.49. So we are going to cross multiply. So that's where you multiply the top and the bottom of opposite sides. And set that equal to the bottom and the top of opposite sides. Okay, now let's pull out our handy dandy calculators. All right, so we've got 215.4 times 3.49, okay? So that gives us $751, or no, 751. So that gives us 751.746, okay? Now we are going to divide both sides by 359, so that'll take it out of this side and put it over to this side. So we're going to divide by 359. Sorry, there's a helicopter going over and I am outside. We now know that 215.4 yards cost about $2.09, okay? It's 4, so we round down. And that's how we can tell how much we should charge for the supplies for our crochet project. Of course, then you can add in your time spent and all of that stuff, your labor. This is how you can calculate how much you should charge just for the yarn you used, okay? All right, let's do one more hypothetical. Let's say that you made a small hair bow, okay? And so it's only 30 yards once you calculated how many yards you used, okay? And let's say it's a different kind of yarn, okay? And this time our yarn, let's say that there are 200 yards on the skein, okay? And let's say the skein cost $11.99. So this is fancy yarn, okay? This is expensive yarn. Okay, so can we do this again? Yes. All right, so we're gonna do the 30 yards, which is our project, over 200 yards, which is what's on the skein, equals, we don't know how much 30 yards of this cost, but we do know that 200 yards is $11.99, okay? All right, we're gonna cross multiply. So that's 30 times $11.99 equals 200 times our variable, which we don't know. All right, so let's do 30 times $11.99, which is 359.7. Then we're gonna divide by both sides by 200 to get that 200 out from over there. So hit equal and then divide it by 200. Okay, So we get 1.7985 equals X. All right, we're gonna round up because this is 8. So that means our hair bow supplies is $1.80. Okay? You can also do this with fluff. You can put the grams of fluff used over the grams of fluff that's in the package and then equal it to what we don't know the cost of the fluff, but we do know the cost of the box of fluff. Okay, and so you can also calculate how much fluff you used. You can do this with a lot of things where you don't know what to charge per thing. All right, well, I hope you find that helpful. Yeah, happy crocheting.